Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley. If you are new, welcome, and if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back for another video. In today's video, we are taking a dive into the main squeeze palette by Colourpop for their 5th birthday, their 5th anniversary of being in business or whatever. So if you want to see how I achieved this look and hear some initial thoughts that I have on the palette and my thoughts on whether or not you should add this to your collection, definitely stay tuned. Alright you guys, so here is a quick look at the palette. It's called the Main Squeeze palette. It has a watermelon theme, and like their other 9-pan palettes, I think the other ones have this as well. The little picture on the back of the shade names. Then you have your 9 pans in the palette as well as the shade names, and then a nice mirror right there. So here you go. This is their red themed palette. You guys know they're coming out with those monochromatic 9-pan palettes. I featured one on my channel already. It's the It's My Pleasure palette. I will put a link up here for you guys to check it out. I was a huge fan of that, and recently Colourpop had like a 30% off sale on their website, so I got a bundle that included this palette and 2 cream gel eyeliners. Or let me show you guys the swatches. I'll cut to that footage now. Alright, so those were the swatches. So as you can see, a lot of the shades look quite similar on my skin tone on the swatch. So yeah, we've got Big Gulp right here, and then Seed Money. These are really similar, and I don't think they needed to have both of these. I don't think they don't show up too differently on my skin tone, as you can see in the swatch. So yeah, this one just looks like it's a half a shade deeper than this one right there. That was Big Gulp. Okay, Froze, I think that's decently different. Or Froze has a little bit more of a pink tone to it versus these other 2 shades. So we can get into the look right now, but what I basically did was used Froze as my transition shade, and I wanted to see the difference between Like It's Hot and Home Slice, because once again we've got 2 shades in this palette that you can see in the pan that they look very similar. They swatch very differently though, but on my eye I used Like It's Hot in more towards the crease to add a little bit more depth. Okay, and it does add some depth, a little bit more redness, a little bit more vibrancy to the crease. But then I wanted to see what Home Slice looked like, because that one has like one of the strongest swatches in the palette, and it's the most vibrant red shade in the palette. And that one is very vibrant. It seems like it has a slight sheen to it, so it seems more I don't know if you want to call it a satin. It's not metallic, but it's just a different consistency than the other mattes in the palette. And that one is very pigmented, very bright red, but you know, it has a little bit more vibrancy, a little bit more pop to it. But Home Slice and Like It's Hot seem a bit redundant. Anyways, I put Home Slice in the crease, more in the crease and towards the outer V, and then to deepen the outer V I took Red Bottom. Okay, I had some trouble with this shade, and not that it's a bad formula, but it would not build up to the depth that I was desiring for my crease. I did get some depth, okay, but it's just not as deep as I would have liked and would have hoped, because with pairing Red Bottoms with Home Slice, I don't get too much of a depth. I feel like if I wanted to use Red Bottoms for a deepener shade, I would need to probably pair that with one of the lighter shades like Froze and a Big Gulp for me to see, you know, a very, you know, big color differentiation there. Alright, so then I used glitter glue on the lid to make the metallics pop, because in the swatches they're not as poppy as I would have hoped. Okay, they're not as foiled or metallic as I would have hoped. Laid down like a little halo effect with Baywatch. So I took that right close to the red bottom shade on the outer V and then on the inner corner. And for the center shade of my halo, I used Maraschino. And as you can see, you cannot see a difference between those two shades. If you can see a difference, please let me know, but I could not on camera, not on the, viewfinder, and not really in person as well. They just look like the same shade when they're laid next to each other. So don't know what's going on there. For my brow bone, I used Juicy Fruit. This is the lighter shade in the palette, the golden shade there, and I use that for my brow bone and for my inner corner. And so since I wanted more of a halo effect, I did pop some of that with a brush on the center of the lid to add a little bit more dimension to the eyelid area. For my lower lash line, I swept Home Slice close to the lashes and used the cream gel liner in the shade Best O. Here this is a nice burgundy type liner, and used that on the waterline and then did a type of a smoked out liner effect on the lid. And that's where we get the eye look from. That's how I achieved the eye look. And now, so my initial thoughts are that I got a very, very, very beautiful eye look with this palette. However, I don't know if I can recommend it to anyone of my skin tone. Reason being, I think there's a lot of redundancy in this palette, and there could be more differentiation with the shades. Big Gulp and Seed Money are very, very similar, as well as Home Slice and Like It's Hot. Home Slice is a very beautiful shade. I would not say that they should remove this one, but they could replace this Like It's Hot with some different type of shade of red. So yeah, but these are just very, very similar. This is a wonderful shade. I think it's a beautiful shade, and it really intensified the crease when I went back over it to, add more of that after I add my shimmer. It just really added vibrancy to the look. So I think this is a beautiful shade, and I like a Juicy Fruit. These other two metallics are too similar on my skin tone. They just blend together and look the same. So I don't know. I think there's just too much redundancy in this palette. This black, or what is this? This burgundy shade called Red Bottoms. I wish it was a little bit deeper. So maybe if they added a deeper shade than this, it's just, this is not going to be a good enough depth shade if you're pairing it with some of these more vibrant, rich red shades, that I already spoken about. So, but, I think, you have to want a red look with this palette. There was nothing pinky about the palette. The only thing that's not red is this shade here. So, I think you could get an everyday look with it using this Juicy Fruit shade and maybe the Red Bottoms shade together, and you can get more of like a, golden type look with a little bit of a burgundy crease. Rosé shade has a red tone to it, so I mean, but it is a little bit more muted, so maybe you could use that as like a one shade look, how I like to do sometimes. So I'll play around with that a little bit more, but as of now, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of variation in this palette for my skin tone. Now, if you're of a medium skin tone, I think you could probably see a little bit more variation in the color, a little bit better, but for me, it's just not, it's not showing enough variation in the red tones in this palette for me. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. It's up to you. I mean, I like the palette. I think you can do some things with it, but as far as like getting real creative and using a bunch of different shades and stuff like that to get different effects, you know, in one look, you're not going to get that, okay? Those are my thoughts. I'm not going to say don't get it, but just take what I said as, you know, a guide. And of course it is an affordable palette, so it's not like you're going to be out of a lot of money if you do decide to get it. If you're interested in delving into red toned eyeshadow, then I think this would be a good way for you to do that at an affordable price. Because let me know what you guys think, how you saw the shadows like perform and things on my eye. If you actually have the palette, let me know what you guys think about it. Quite honestly, I could have gone without it, but that home slice shade is very, very beautiful. Oh, and I do have to say that some of these shades are pressed pigment, so this is a pressed powder palette, so that means that some of the shades could stain if you don't like use a base. I use my Laying Low paint pot and stuff, so we'll see how that goes, but I think I'll be okay. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this video, what you think of the look, and what you think of the palette. Are you going to be picking it up? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more content from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I upload videos 3 to 4 times per week. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will be talking to you guys really, really soon. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.